You know who matters to me right now? We've got a guest with us. His name is Trent Frisina, and he's the co-founder of Fantasy Aces. Trent, good morning. How are you?
Dr. Rado, thanks for having me.
Yeah, good to have you on with us. And, you know, we've been bringing on people from various sites because, you know, we feel here in the Daily Fantasy Baseball Hour that we want to, you know, get people out there seeing that every site is different in their own ways and they bring strengths and, dare I say, weaknesses. So I think one of the things that I know we've talked about Fantasy Aces is your Flex Cap. Tell people about that. I think it's a really cool device that you guys have.
Yeah, it's called Salary Pro, and when we developed this concept, number one, we thought it was a great idea. But the second thing that we noticed was we thought that there was actually a need for it. You know, how many players out there are under the cap, $300-$500, but they turn their whole team upside down because they feel that anxiety of having to spend their whole cap. Well, at least you can start the game the way you wanted with the roster you like and start with some fantasy bonus points because you're not spending your whole salary. But the flip side of it is the other strategy of going over the cap. You can go over the cap and you can start the contest at a negative, obviously. But if you can squeeze in, let's say, a Mike Trout versus someone like a Matt Kemp, I mean, obviously you're going to see a ton of value right there. The strategy game, it's a whole different ball game, and there's so much variance with this contest. And so we're excited about it starting to really catch, and our players, some of our players only play Salary Pro. Keep in mind, we realize that some people, it might not be their cup of tea, but we do offer just your normal traditional salary cap with no flex involved. So, yeah, it's a great feature of our site. I'd invite anybody that is playing daily fantasy to check out Fantasy Aces and play this contest, especially if they're all across the board on sites they're playing or under the cap on any particular night. Why not start with some bonus points?
Trent, give me the bonus positives and negatives. Is it per $100? How do you work that out?
It's per $50. It's per $50. So our salary is in increments of $50. So, but to get into the bonus, you have to be 250 under the cap in order for bonus to start accruing on your draft. When you go over the cap, $50, you start getting penalized. So for baseball, it's a tenth of a point, I believe, for every $50 you're under. So if you're $1,000 in the cap, you're going to start your contest with 2 fantasy points. It's basically a double. If you're $1,000 over the cap, you're going to start with negative 4 points. So, I mean, we double you get hit double when you go over the cap. But again, that's actually, when I look at it, I think that a lot of people start to chase points. I say chase the value, chase the players that you really like. And if your roster's spitting out an undervalued team, well, Salary Pro is perfect for you. But to go over the cap, I mean, I've seen this thing. The variance is really there, and I've seen guys win tournaments with being over the cap versus people think automatically got to chase 10 points because you can max out 10 fantasy points bonus if you're $5,000 under the cap.
Now, is this something that you guys will do for football, or is this something you're just rolling out for baseball?
Well, we find that right now it works. We started last year. You know, we launched baseball last year, and Salary Pro works great for baseball, but we also offer it for football and even basketball. You can even jump in a Salary Pro contest tonight for basketball. Obviously, NBA is a little more aggressive. I believe you start with up to 40 points. But I mean, it's a totally different ball game there for basketball. But yeah, you can start up to 40 points with NBA.
Now, I also like what you guys have. You guys have a custom research tool. You know, people could go on and get an on-site, research page. Tell people about that because I think it's one of those things that makes you guys different.
Yeah, right. We thought that it would be a great idea to have some tools on site other than just opening up a player's card and looking at what he's done the last couple of days. We really wanted to separate ourselves and put in a custom tool. It's great because you can go in, like right now for baseball, you can go in there and find out who's got, the highest home run rate over the last 7 days or any particular stat you're looking to research or players you're looking to research. That's one thing, but the reason why Scout is so important is that you can scout players. You basically highlight them, you add them to your scout list. Seamlessly, when you go to the draft and you're drafting your team, every player that you've scouted will have a scout icon next to his name in the player pool. And furthermore, you can actually push a button to only see your scout list. So you can really narrow down the players that you're looking to draft. I mean, if you don't go in and have a strategy and a game plan when you draft, we all know that you're going to get distracted looking at hundreds of players in the player pool and start clicking on, player cards and forgetting about the guys you're originally looking at. So this will help you organize, have a list of players that you know are some guys that you want to roster, and you can, add them on, drop them off anytime you like. It's very easy.
I want to compliment you because I think that an on-site research tool is very important. And I question why other sites, your competitors don't have anything like that. I want you guys to have the most information so you can make the best, dare I say the word wager, the best picks of the night. I don't understand why more sites don't do things like that.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's one thing that we noticed, and that's why we developed it. And furthermore, we're going to keep advancing it. Right now, you can go in there and sort through, all the important stats, but we're going to get, BVP and righty-lefty and all that stuff. And for football, I mean, the tool, we launched it in football, and the tool worked great for football. So, you go to our site, the scout buttons are at the top. You can easily go in there and check it out. And furthermore, even if you're not playing on our site, you can use the tool. That's the great thing. You can still, sign up for free, use the tool, create a list, and you can even use it for season long. So, it's a great tool, and we're going to keep advancing it. And yeah, that's why we put it on there, because we saw a need for that as well.
We're talking to Trent Frisina, the co-founder of FantasyAces.com. Check them out. They do a great job. So tell me some other things that distinguish your site from some of the others. Do you have, bonuses and big-time prize? A lot of sites are offering tons of money. What are you guys offering to bring people in?
Well, right now, I mean, we're growing. Obviously, we're not as large as some of our competitors, but that's the goal. We're going to get there. But, one thing that's attractive for players, especially guys that are grinders, is our monthly wins bonus. So, we start awarding you extra cash just for winning 10 or more games in a particular month. So, and I think our max payout is about 35 cents per win, and you got to get over 250 wins for that. So it's an attractive way to award our players, not just for playing, but more importantly, we're competitive people. So we wanted to put our bonus behind being competitive and actually winning. So, the more wins you rack up for being a good player, you're going to get those bonuses. And so for grinders, I mean, if you're on other sites playing and you're racking up 50, 100, 200 wins plus, it's another reason to come and check out Fantasy Aces, because we start playing you per every win you achieve over 10 wins. That's something that's very attractive, I believe.
I don't want to call you as one of the smaller guys in the industry. How do you start competing with the bigger guys? What things you're doing a lot of the things. I love the Salary Pro Flex Cap. I love the research tool. What other things do you have in the hopper that you're working on to get yourself bigger and better in this industry?
Well, we're going to keep growing, obviously, and it's going to take time. It doesn't happen overnight. But, actually next week we have a Survivor-style contest that we're rolling out. It's going to be anywhere from 3 to 5 days based on how the schedule and the slate of games are. And it's going to be a Salary Pro Survivor. So that's another thing we're putting out there that's going to, add another dimension of contest that we have, not just your single game, but a week long. It'll be, like I said, between 3 and 5 days. That should get people excited. We do have a decent sized contest. I mean, this Friday coming up, we have a Salary Pro $1,200 line drive. So it's not a giant contest, but look, you can definitely get in there and win some cash. That's the thing that's important here. It's not 5,000 people fighting for a top 10%. You'll realize that getting in there and winning some cash is your high percentage chance of winning are on Fantasy Aces.
Yeah, that's it's such a great point, Trent, because I think people see, you could win $1.2 million. You and against 12,000 of your closest friends, and you better be pretty darn lucky to win it.
Right. I mean, our goal is to be that large, but at the same time, find a happy medium of, not allowing, 100 rosters for one player. At the same time, we realize there's a need for that, and obviously we run multi-entry contests as well. So we're not knocking it, but it does. I understand that the concern is out there.
Well, Trent Frisina from Fantasy Aces, I wish you guys all the best in the industry. You guys do a great job, and continued success to you.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having us on.
All right, you got it. That was Trent Frisina from FantasyAces.com. Check out their site. They have this Flex Pro, this salary cap where, like he said, if you go under, you go over, you can still work that to your advantage. And they've got a custom research tool that it's the only DFS site to really have one like that. So really good stuff from them. All right, this is a 15-minute warning presented.